What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and the Kansas City Chiefs have defeated the Detroit Lions 30-17, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to provide this video to you. I truly am. And the reason that I'm excited to provide this video to you is because I really feel like the Kansas City Chiefs have just kind of hit that moment where they've got through that adverse part of their season. They literally have gotten through the gauntlet of the schedule where everyone was kind of looking at it from the beginning of the year, and they're like, man, how are the Kansas City Chiefs going to get through this? And then if you really want to take it further, you have to pile all the things on that have happened. Whether it was a suspension to Rashee Rice, whether it was 3 plays into the first game and your second best wide receiver dislocates his shoulder and sustains a major injury. You got guys that are questionable that are going to be playing in positions that we're just unfamiliar with. You have a rookie left tackle who really we anticipated having a phenomenal year, but you just did not know because he is a rookie. The offensive line was completely revamped. I mean, you have pretty much a rookie left guard next to a rookie left tackle. You have a right tackle who is known for penalties and really kind of questioning him coming into potentially his last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs defense, coming into the season, there were a lot of question marks around the defensive front. You go out, you pay George Karlaftis. You go out and you pay Nick Bolton. But then you have a lot of questions in different areas. You go draft guys like Noel Williams, Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gelati. You're starting to fill the gaps. You're starting to plug and play. There's a lot of things that were going on as you headed into this schedule, and they come out 3-3, and probably, in my opinion, defeated probably the best team in the NFL outside of maybe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. I mean, outside of that, even to me, the Detroit Lions were the best team in the NFL. They came into your house, and the Kansas City Chiefs absolutely sent the statement to the NFL. And I think that, again, it just shows you that the Kansas City Chiefs find ways to deflect the noise, the adversity. They completely are a cohesive unit within that locker room. They come together. They are led by probably the best coach in the NFL. They have good culture. I mean, you see the environment that this team has. And so for the fact that they took a gut punch to the Jacksonville Jaguars and immediately came out the next week and dominated, just shows you the makeup, the chemistry, the DNA that this team has had. I mean, heck, they've gone to the last 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. They are a powerhouse football team. And ladies and gentlemen, they will be getting Rashee Rice back this week. So that, again, it just instills and plugs in more motivation for this team. I think, too, and I'm not going to get too far ahead, but this is Raider week. The Las Vegas Raiders are coming to Kansas City, which is a huge week for this rivalry. I mean, there's just a lot that this team is building momentum for. And I wanted to take time to really kind of go through some of this game, but I'm just amped. I'm hyped up. I'm excited because this Kansas City Chiefs have started to get the rusty gears going of questionability, to get a lot of the haters who are like, oh, the refs are always on the Kansas City Chiefs side. They're jock riding the Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm done with that. That's literally beating the dead horse. I'm tired of hearing that. I'm also tired of this injury narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kansas City Chiefs played last night without their starting left tackle and had to plug in Jalen Moore, who, granted, you paid to come play, left tackle out of questionability from your left tackle. But he plugs right in and is going against some of the best pass rush in the NFL. I mean, Jawan Taylor is finding ways to help with Aiden Hutchinson. And if he was bouncing around, I mean, granted, Aiden Hutchinson is just a next level, next tier type of pass rusher. But he didn't just completely disrupt this game to the point where the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't function. The Kansas City Chiefs found a way, ladies and gentlemen. This offense is literally full steam ahead. They're pushing forward. They have momentum, and they're about to plug in the best receiver on their team. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's unreal what they're doing. And I think that just needs to be highlighted. It really does. And I'm just excited. Ryan Clark, starts speaking about, Patrick Mahomes and how he's like, should we be taking him more seriously? I mean, the fact that Patrick Mahomes is having a MVP type season, and I don't want to start talking too much about that this early on, but ladies and gentlemen, he is having an MVP type season. And I said before the season even started, I truly anticipated that Patrick Mahomes would have the best season of his career. And the reason is because they came off such an abysmal loss in the Super Bowl, and his wires are plugged in differently. He takes that stuff personal. He does. He hears the noise, and instead of talking with his mouth, he translates that into his game. Yeah, he probably talks smack on the field. We saw it with Branch last night. He runs the football into the end zone, takes a shoulder blow, and is flexing on him and talking smack. Yeah, that's between the lines. That's what he is. That's the type of player he is. He lets his game do the talking. And that's what it is. So we're going to jump in. We're going to really talk about this game. And I'm excited for it. I am, because I think this just sent the shots across the bow to let people know that the Kansas City Chiefs are not to be messed with. And I think that this is going to be the start of a significant run as we start to march towards the playoffs. Again, it's still very early. There's still tons of season left, but I think you really got through the trenches of the toughest part of this schedule. It will lighten up just a bit. I don't think that, it's going to be some easy schedule the rest of the way. No, because everybody's coming for the Kansas City Chiefs every year. When you're a Super Bowl, consistently going to the Super Bowl, they're going to gun for you, and that's just how it is. So how this game started off, I really think the momentum was heavily favored in the Lions, especially that first drive for the Lions. The fact that they were stalled out on the defensive line, like really on the goal line, I think just spoke to how this Kansas City Chiefs defensive front, although they struggle at the pass rush, this defensive front and really the linebackers have solidified a way to really stop the run in short down situations. They really have found ways to kind of disrupt the backfield when it's in short yardage plays, specifically close to the goal line. So they would, and when I say they, the Lions would kick a 28-yard field goal from Jake Bates that would give the Lions a 3-0 lead. And really it was kind of like, okay, the Lions, they really kind of drove down. It didn't really look like they were challenged in any way. I mean, they were running a lot of quick out routes. Jared Goff wasn't getting any form of pressure whatsoever. They were quick throws. He had quick reactions. They really just did not give a whole lot of opportunity for the Kansas City Chiefs to really just do anything, to be honest, on defense. And obviously, we know as people who watch this game, really the first few plays, I would say up to 10 are pretty good, well scripted. After that, it's like, all right, how is the playbook looking? What are we going to go through? What are we going to pick? How are we going to do this? So I really think that kind of played a huge factor into it. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs would obviously follow up with an Xavier-worthy 6-yard TD pass that came from Patrick Mahomes. Again, we kind of struggled early on in the red zone. This would have been a fourth down play. It really felt like the Chiefs needed to get this. And as we're going to get through this video, it really felt like the Lions and the Chiefs were just exchanging fourth down blows. It really felt like, hey, if you're going for it, we're going for it. We're not going to sit here and punt because it's fourth and whatever. We're going for it. And I think that just speaks to both sides taking each side seriously. And really like, okay, well, we know that if they score, we're going to have to counter. And field goals aren't going to be what's going to win us this football game. It's going to be touchdowns. It's going to be going for it. It's going to be putting the other team at a disadvantage. So they went for it and they scored. It would put the Chiefs up 6-3 because, again, Harrison Butker cannot find a way to kick a PAT, ladies and gentlemen. Man, after that missed PAT, social media, specifically Twitter, exploded in the negative for Harrison Butker. I think, honestly, the glass filled over and absolutely overflowed. I think people are finally done with Harrison Butker. Granted, he would kind of cap out the night in a more positive way and finish out well. But ladies and gentlemen, when you're missing PATs, you're missing field goals, at some point, those points add up. And it's going to impact a game at some point. And I just think, again, that glass overfilled and people were just like, get him out of here. And I think, it's understandable. It is. When you are missing consistently the gimmies, then it starts to question, can you make the serious ones when the game matters? And so that's really where I think In my case, that's where I'm coming from, and that was a concern for mine early on in the year when we were seeing the mishaps, or the yips, as people would say. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Dan Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest, she delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer, looking to upsize, or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000 or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. Now, the second quarter, Lions, Jameson Williams, 22-yard TD pass from Jared Goff. That would put the Lions up 10-6, relatively in the 12:49 mark. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs would respond, and really, I think the significant thing was, in this case, Patrick Mahomes would run a 1-yard touchdown in, and that would put the Chiefs up 13-10. I think one of the more impactful things, again, with a pass rush and a defense to the caliber of the Detroit Lions, it never truly felt like Mahomes was having to just be forced out of the pocket consistently. Early on in the year, you would see Patrick Mahomes having to scramble. He would feel the pocket collapsing. He would have to step up and really try to run for first downs or just try to get out to just survive. I think in this case, there were a lot of opportunities for Mahomes to really kind of determine, go through his progressions, read the defense, and if he felt like he needed to step up and run, that was the case. In this case, with this touchdown, it was a designed run. It was really like that option style of play that you see in college football that's often ran with mobile quarterbacks, where they basically snap it, they read the defensive end, or they read the defender that's out there. I mean, Mahomes even kind of gave him the shimmy fake pitch, and then he kept it and ran it into the end zone. Again, that really kind of felt like the momentum was starting to sway. And I think the thing that goes underappreciated most of the time, you hear people talk about it all the time, and in this game, obviously the Detroit Lions won the coin toss and elected to take the kickoff, but most of the time, Andy Reid finds a way to win the coin toss, and then he always defers to the second half. He wants the football to kick off the second half. And I think that that's significant because in this case, you're able to double dip. So the Kansas City Chiefs would score, go up 13-10, and immediately they would come out and get the opportunity to score more points. And I think that's really where momentum can sway, especially when you go in to halftime hyped up because you're up 13-10, you drove down, your quarterback was able to just absolutely take you down the field and score you a touchdown, and then you're able to come back out and you're able to really kind of go do it again. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs would score on a Hollywood Brown 9-yard TD pass from Patrick Mahomes. Successfully, Butker would kick the PAT, and the Chiefs would lead 20-10. I'm not going to say that I was 100% in a comfortable spot at 20-10, and the reason is because of what happened next. Now, the Lions, Sam Laporta would catch an unreal touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it was a phenomenal touchdown. Sam Laporta is a special tight end, obviously, just a monster when it comes to running routes, catching the football. He's a huge target for Jared Goff. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, this is typically where you're kind of in weird, murky water with the Chiefs because they managed a 10-point lead. You would expect a team like this to really put the foot down on the gas pedal, get as many points as they possibly can. We often see Andy in these situations kind of get a comfortability with 10-point lead, 13-point lead, and he kind of lets off and he tries to milk clock, and in some cases, it backfires. And a team like the Detroit Lions, who have really probably the best scoring offense in the NFL, have the chance to do what they did. And so obviously they drove down and would diminish the lead to 20-17. Now the Kansas City Chiefs did the opposite of what they usually do. They put the foot pedal down to the floorboard and they scored another touchdown. Hollywood Brown, a 3-yard TD pass from Patrick Mahomes. Butker would find a way to kick it in again, and the Chiefs would lead 27-13. That would really kind of wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, because the final scoring play would be a 33-yard field goal from Harrison Butker. Again, like I said, after that first yip on that extra point, Butker seemed to be pretty solid the rest of the way, and the final score would be 30-17. I really think that just kind of shows you the significance of this game, how it transpired. Obviously, the key performers, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Mahomes went off. He had 3 touchdown passes. They were to Worthy and 2 to Brown, and he also rushed 1 in for a touchdown. Now, Jared Goff on the other side really didn't have a terrible game. There were no turnovers in this game. So Jared Goff threw 2 touchdowns, 1 to Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta. So first downs, the Kansas City Chiefs had 26 first downs. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they were moving the football. It was incredible to see. To the Lions, 18. Now, one of the things I think is most significant is the Kansas City Chiefs ran 62 plays for 355 yards to the Detroit Lions 53 to 297. For an offense that is really, really good and, really has good running backs, the Kansas City Chiefs defense needs to be given credit. They really need to be given credit for the ability to limit the Detroit Lions. The whole objective for a powerhouse offense going against a defense like this is to limit them. You're not going to be able to completely shut them down. You're not going to be able to shut down everybody across the board because they are so good at what they do. But the fact that you limited them to under 300 yards, I think just speaks to the significance of how good this Chiefs defense truly was. Now, the yards per play were relatively the exact same. Detroit had 5.6 to the Kansas City Chiefs 5.7. And again, the fact that Jared Goff was outplayed in this, he threw 199 yards. He was 23 of 29. He averaged 6.6 yards per pass. To Patrick Mahomes is 243, 22 and 30, and averaged 7.4 yards per pass. Now, a big difference is the fact that Patrick Mahomes was sacked 3 times, and that resulted in 14 yards. I mean, Mahomes, again, is trying to find ways to get out of the pocket at times. But when you got guys like Aiden Hutchinson who are just absolutely monsters, they're going to disrupt. I mean, there's a distinct play out there, and everybody was talking about it, when Noah Gray was given the task of trying to one-on-one Aiden Hutchinson. And the fact that Aiden Hutchinson just blew him up, got to Patrick Mahomes on a potential fumble, just speaks to kind of how Aiden Hutchinson is just a disruptive monster. Now, rushes, I think, are one of the most important things. The Detroit Lions rushed only for 98 yards on 23 attempts. That really is kind of the bread and butter of their team. They used their 2-headed monster in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to kind of support and build up this pass game from Jared Goff and obviously all of his significant targets. St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, I mean, the list kind of goes on. To where the Kansas City Chiefs limited them to under 100 yards speaks to how well Spags and his defense really played. I mean, it was a phenomenal game plan. It really was. So that will be the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. The Kansas City Chiefs, like I stated in the beginning of this video, defeat the Detroit Lions 30-17. There's going to be a lot to really discuss this week for a lot of reasons. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be building momentum. We're going to really break down a lot of this game, kind of talk about how successful this offense is starting to become, and also where this defense is kind of building momentum as well and where they will continue to rank. And I think one of the things I really want to start looking at again even further is our defensive line. We are finding ways to impact, just not disrupt. And so I think that that's significant. I'm also excited because it's Raiders week. And ladies and gentlemen, we just despise the Las Vegas Raiders. I really want to say Oakland Raiders because as a kid, that's just what I'm used to. But the Las Vegas Raiders will be coming to Arrowhead. And ladies and gentlemen, we just dislike that team in a lot of ways. So we will be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm amped up because the Kansas City Chiefs send a statement to the NFL, to their fan base. And I think it's just significant to see us starting to build momentum and get Rashee Rice back. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys thought of this football game. Did it turn out the way you thought it would? Were you sweating one out? How did you feel about this game? Let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I appreciate you every single video. Have a good day.